cookies, third-party data, and first-hand data. Hey guys, I am Alberto Limpura. Welcome to the bonus episode for the 5th episode of the Naughty Marketer podcast. So I have mentioned this in previous episodes, and one of the things that marketers should be aware of by now is what is going to be the future like for online tracking from user tracking, right? So one of the things that one of the news that we got this week was Nielsen unveiling a new ID resolution system that is going to tackle the thing about the third-party data. So, as many of you may know by now, we are headed into a future without any cookies that will allow us to track the user flow and the online behavior of customers and potential customers throughout the internet. Usually, this kind of information allowed us as marketers to know what kind of users are going to be fit or best fit for targeting them with a specific ads or specific messages. So for that matter, you could target people that have been visiting your e-commerce, for example, but that have not purchased anything. With that information that belongs to you, we are going to still be able to do retargeting campaigns and so forth. The thing here is that one way of doing that we had in the past was that we relied on things and platforms like Facebook's Pixels and Google's Pixel as well. So one of the things that are going to be, that is going to change after Google's and Apple fall through with removing the ability to track users down through their platforms, that being browsers, operating systems, etc., is how we are going to be able to know what does a specific user do when they browse the internet. This is going to be difficult. So the solution from Nielsen that we know, Nielsen is one of the leaders, global leaders on tracking information from customers, is that they're going to use a system that uses machine learning to process data from its panels. You know that Nielsen is very well known for its customer panels, as well as from advertisers and publishers. This is according to MediaPost, to ensure that the individuals, I'm quoting them, making up an ads audience are correctly measured across platform and not duplicated. That data is then combed through using deep learning techniques to scale video measurement across media. So this is kind of huge, right? In another news from Marketing Brew, we have that Nielsen was going to launch this identity graph ID measurement system in 2021, next year, with the main idea to gather data based on transparency, explainability towards the user, diversity and non-discrimination and fairness, accountability, privacy and security, and technical robustness. That is obviously because we as marketers and brands are going to need a new way to get that information from. So one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that most of this information is going to be opt-in. They are going to have to ask users that are willing to be tracked. So the thing here is that probably the amount of users being tracked is going to go down. We're going to have less and less users in amount, but that doesn't necessarily is going to hurt the bad validity of those data or of that data, because one of the things that if you know how a customer panel works is that they have a sample that usually is representative of the whole universe that a company or a brand or a product is looking for. So what they will have to do is to do, I mean, kind of the same. The good thing is that Nielsen already do. I mean, they do this really. I mean, really good, and this is their field of expertise. One of the things that they are boasting about is about the ethics of these measurements, which I think personally that it's going to be key for getting that traction of users wanting to opt in into the data tracking system that they or any other, for that matter, company setups. So, how are brands preparing for this future with no third party data? So, the best way that you can prepare yourself and bulletproof your strategy is to have first party data or first hand data, which is going to be gathered by you in your website, in your app, you name it. This is something that is super curious because a couple of weeks ago, Oreo, the cookie brand, launched a new platform called Oreo ID, where you could, or you can, because it's available, you can personalize your Oreo cookies. I mean, you can put the cookie filling, the cream filling, of any color that you want. You can choose from a rainbow amount of different colors. You can also change, like if you want sprinkles, if you wanted chocolate dip, if you want to have your picture or any text in the faces of the cookie. So in order to do this, you needed to create an account. I mean, that would be your Oreo ID, right? So this is kind of the thing that Nike and L'Oreal and many other brands are doing or have been doing in the past with for the sake of offering a personalized product that fits your needs and, I mean, your specifications. But obviously, for Oreo, this is just, I mean, for being engaging, I mean, to have your own personalized cookie. I mean, they boast about this, or they say that this could be something that you give. I mean, it could be a great gift for someone that is a fan of Oreo cookies. But behind the scene, what they are doing is that they are gathering, I mean, not without your permission, but they are going to, they are profiling the customer, right? The user. So they are gathering data from each of the users that create and use Oreo ID in order to be, well, nurturing that database that they will need for upcoming years when they don't have the third party data available for them. Even more, one of the things that Mondelez, the company behind Oreo, is that they say is that they can gather more data who from the customers that purchase personalized products, and that could also lead to first of all more value to the customer, but also this is another way of having an input for the developing new products or developing and adding new features to that tool. So this is a very interesting take for this. And another interesting news about this whole customer identification online that was published this week was that most marketers are not aware or are clueless, according to Apps Flyer, is that many of them don't know exactly how the Apple's IDFA changes to iOS 14 is going to how is going to impact them and their work. I don't know if you know the details about this, but one of the things that Apple is going to do is that they are going to eliminate the feature of the possibility for third parties to track the users across different apps. And this was another way that companies like Facebook, for that matter, nurture the users' profiles for 90% of their user base that we're going to be able to be targeted by Facebook ads. So it's what it's more striking is that about 73%, according to this survey from AdsFlyer, they don't. I mean, they expect a negative impact on their campaigns and their apps for losing half of the identifiers from under the Apple's opt-in protocol. But 6% said that they are extremely familiar with what they're going to be dealing with. Only 6%. So between 57% and 57% said that they're somewhat familiar to what this implies for them, and 37% said they are not really familiar or not very familiar with the impact that this change is going to have for them. So this is something that, I mean, we need to educate us as marketers. We need to educate our teams to understand what is the challenges, what are the challenges, and what are going to be the difficulties that we are going to face with, because that is going to be the only way that we can come up with creative solutions that are totally inside of what is permitted and what is lawful and so forth, but that allows us to transform this challenge into an opportunity to grow. Because if you take a look at what Oreo did there, obviously having first party data is going to be way more powerful than having third party data, because first off, you are going to be the total owner of that data, and you're going to be able to make more efforts into nurturing the profiles of those users that you have. And also you're going to be able to sticking to all the regulations, GDPR and all the stuff, but you're going to be able to use that data to your own advantage. I mean, it's like having the best kind of premium data straight from your customer with no intermediary, which is going to be also it's going to be less expensive for brands to do. The thing here is that when you are a giant like Oreo or Mondelez, you're going to be able to gather that data fast enough. The more challenging thing is going to be for small and medium-sized businesses that are not going to be able to have the critical amount of users to get these statistical models and to to create marketing actions that are going to be fit for them. But well, this is the main story that I wanted to talk to you about. What do you think about this? What are your thoughts on the future? One of the things I keep saying this to my students and to all the clients I work with, is that we have to be very responsible with the users and their data. We should be totally transparent with them, to let and honest. And we have to let them know why do we need their data. And obviously, we should only ask for the data that we need that we honestly need for improving our added value for the customers and to improve their customer experience as a whole. So that was all for this bonus episode. I hope you like it. This is the first time I do a bonus episode, so please let me know if you like this kind of content, and if not, how can I make it more appealing to you? So guys, please be safe. I hope to see you in the next episode of the Naughty Marketer podcast. Lempi out.